Okay, so get this. We're diving deep into this paper, all about, well, a new AI model. It's called Efficient TAMS.
Mm.
And it's basically all about, like, making video analysis super fast
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
efficient. You know how SAM2 can segment and track, like, almost anything in a video?
Right.
Well, Efficient TAMS are aiming to do that same thing, but in a way that won't, fry your computer.
Yeah.
So whether you're, I don't know, like prepping for some big AI meeting or you just really like geeking out about tech,
Uh-huh.
this deep dive is going to like give you all the need to know info.
So video object segmentation and tracking, it's always been a really demanding task, computationally. Think of it kind of like trying to follow one specific firefly in a whole swarm.
Oh, wow.
You have to identify it and then keep track of it as it's moving all around.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy.
Yeah, and we've seen some amazing progress with SAM and SAM2, but those models, they can be real resource hogs, especially if you're trying to run them on something like a mobile device.
Exactly, and that's where these efficient TAMs come in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they're designed to be much more lightweight, but without giving up too much in terms of accuracy.
Yeah.
And to do that, they really focused on two key innovations.
Okay.
The first one is they simplified the image encoder. So instead of using that complex multi-stage structure from SAM2,
Right.
they went with a streamlined vision transformer. And vision transformers, they're great at understanding the context of images. And in this case, they were able to get really strong performance with a much simpler design.
So they basically just like stripped away all the unnecessary bells and whistles.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the second area of focus was the memory module.
Okay.
So SAM2, it has this really intense memory mechanism that it uses to keep track of objects across different frames.
Right.
But efficient TAMs use a much more clever approach.
Okay.
They leverage the fact that spatial information in a video, it usually changes kind of gradually.
Okay.
So their memory module, it uses a coarser representation of the spatial memory tokens.
Okay.
And this really reduces the computational burden.
So instead of memorizing every single detail, it's kind of like picking out the key landmarks in the video's memory.
Yes.
I can already see how that would be way more efficient.
And the results are really impressive. They were able to achieve comparable accuracy to SAM2 on a variety of these video segmentation benchmarks.
Wow.
Even for really tricky tasks like long-term object tracking.
Okay.
And the speed is remarkable. They got about a 2x speed up on powerful GPUs. And get this, they achieved about 10 frames per second on an iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
10 frames per second on a phone.
Yeah.
That means like real-time object tracking on a mobile device is actually possible.
It is. It is.
And
On one of the benchmark data sets, their efficient TAM-S model, it got a 74.5% JNF accuracy score.
Okay.
JNF accuracy basically measures how well the model's segmentation overlaps with the actual object boundaries.
Gotcha.
And that score, it significantly beat other efficient methods like QtBase and XMEM.
Wow, those are some serious numbers.
Yeah.
This really shows that you don't always need crazy complexity in AI to get like great results.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's just like a smarter, more streamlined approach.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
And the paper's ablation studies, where they tested different design choices, they really highlight this.
Okay.
For example, they found that if they removed object pointer tokens,
Right.
it actually hurt performance, which shows how important those tokens are.
Yeah.
Essentially, these tokens, they act as flags, kind of telling the model to pay really close attention to specific objects.
Okay.
They also messed around with different ways to handle the memory tokens. And they found that pooling all the tokens together instead of focusing on the spatial ones, it really messed up the accuracy.
So they had to be like really picky about what to simplify.
Yes.
To keep that balance of speed and accuracy.
It's all about finding the right balance.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So
and they also found that using an averaging technique worked way better than just using local window detention, which is another common way to try to reduce computational load.
Okay, so this is super cool from like a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
But what does it actually mean for people who aren't,
right.
AI experts? Like why should we care about these efficient TAMs?
Well, this is a huge step forward for on-device AI. If we can run these really powerful video analysis models on our phones and other everyday devices, it opens up a ton of possibilities. Imagine things like augmented reality that actually works seamlessly, or more powerful real-time video editing tools,
Yeah.
or robots that can navigate difficult environments much more efficiently.
Yeah, the potential applications are pretty mind-blowing. Like
Yeah,
AR that doesn't lag, video editing, on the fly,
right.
robots that can actually like understand their surroundings.
Yeah,
It's almost like we're on the verge of a whole new like era in tech,
yeah,
all thanks to these efficient AI models.
you got it.
It's really exciting to think about.
Yeah, it really is.
But let's dive into like some of the specific results from those benchmark tests. I'm curious to hear like what stood out to you.
Well, let's get into that next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned benchmarks. Like what were these tests that the researchers used, and what did they tell us about these efficient TAMs?
Well, to really see how good these efficient TAMs are, the researchers put them through their paces on a whole bunch of video segmentation benchmarks. These benchmarks are basically, think of them as like standardized tests to see how well a model can identify and then keep track of objects in videos.
Okay, so these benchmarks are designed to like really push these models, to their limits.
Exactly. They cover all sorts of challenges, like videos with a ton of motion, objects that are like partially hidden, and a lot more.
Okay, that makes sense. You mentioned this SEV test earlier. What is that one all about?
So the SEV test dataset, that one's specifically designed to test models that can segment anything in a video. It's got a huge variety of scenes, objects, and movements, which makes it a really tough test.
Okay.
Efficient TAMs achieved a 74.5% JNF accuracy score on this one.
Okay.
Now SAM2, which is what they were basically trying to make more efficient, got 74.7%.
Oh, wow.
So almost the same accuracy, but with like a huge boost in efficiency.
So they're basically getting the same level of performance in a much like leaner package.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really impressive. But it's not just about like raw accuracy, right?
Right.
You mentioned some other benchmarks too, like the LVOS benchmark.
Yes, LVOS. That one's all about long-term tracking, so keeping track of objects even when they disappear and reappear over like longer periods of time.
Right.
This is really where that efficient memory module shines.
Correct.
Even though efficient TAMs use a simplified version of memory, they were able to beat other efficient methods on LVOS by a significant margin.
That's wild. It's basically proving it keep track of things even when they're playing hide and seek in the video.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so we talked about these benchmarks and how efficient TANs stack up against, other models. But what about real world like scenarios? What are some specific tasks or applications where this tech could really, make a difference?
Oh, the possibilities are huge.
That-
Think about promptable video segmentation. You could, for example, click on a person in a video, and the model would track that person throughout the whole video, even if they're moving around or they're like partially blocked.
So you're telling me I could like edit out my ex from all our old home videos with just a couple clicks?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now that's something I can't buy. But jokes aside, the potential applications for something like this really are like vast.
Yeah.
Earlier we talked about things like augmented reality, video editing, even robotics. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
Absolutely. Imagine using your phone to like seamlessly overlay information onto the real world, recognizing and tracking objects in real time. This would like completely change AR, making it way more immersive. Think of those AR demos where you point your phone at a car and it shows you all the specs.
Right.
With efficient TAMs, those experiences would be smooth and responsive instead of laggy and awkward.
That would be a game changer. But let's not forget about all the like non-flashy but equally impactful applications, right?
Yeah.
Like security systems that can track individuals or objects of interest, or even healthcare applications where efficient TAMs could analyze medical images or even monitor, patients' movements and vital signs. It's like we're giving machines a whole new level of visual intelligence.
Exactly. And the fact that these capabilities are now within reach on everyday devices, that's truly groundbreaking. We're not stuck in labs with supercomputers anymore. Efficient TAMs are bringing the power of this advanced video analysis to everyone, and that has the potential to revolutionize tons of industries and just like change how we live.
Okay, so we've covered the benchmarks, real-world applications, the fact that this thing can run on a phone. This is all really amazing. But one thing that keeps coming back to me are those ablation studies. What exactly did they reveal about, how efficient TAMs work?
The ablation studies really help explain why these models are so efficient. So, for example, when the researchers removed those object pointer tokens we talked about earlier, the model's performance tanked.
Right, those flags that basically tell the model what to pay attention to.
Exactly.
So taking them away is like taking away his cheat sheet.
Exactly. They also experimented with different ways of handling those memory tokens, and they found that just pooling all of them together actually made things worse.
Huh.
It turns out that being really selective about which tokens to pool is super important for staying both efficient and accurate.
So you can't just like blindly simplify everything. It's all about finding that balance.
Exactly. That sweet spot between reducing complexity and keeping the stuff that really matters. And that's one of the coolest things about efficient TAMs. They found some clever ways to simplify just enough without sacrificing what makes it work.
Okay, so they had to get creative to get these results, huh?
For sure.
I'm guessing there's still more to uncover here, right?
Yeah.
What else can you tell us about these efficient TAMs?
Well, one more thing I think is worth mentioning is the impact of input resolution.
Okay.
They found that if they made the video frames smaller, they could actually get even faster speeds, especially on mobile devices.
So it's like they're finding like even more ways to fine-tune that balance between speed and quality.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like another tool they can use to adjust that balance depending on what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
That's really neat. But, I think what's really blowing my mind here is just like the sheer range of potential applications, right? We've talked about a few. AR, video editing, robotics, but like I'm sure we've only scratched the surface here, right?
Yeah.
What are some other areas where you think these efficient TAMs could really make a difference?
Oh, you're absolutely right. The possibilities are like endless. I mean, we've touched on some of the obvious ones like making augmented reality better, but think about the impact on video editing.
Yeah.
Imagine like tools that could isolate and manipulate objects in your videos with like incredible precision. You could remove stuff you don't want or replace backgrounds or create these amazing visual effects all on your phone or some other simple device.
That would be amazing, especially for like, content creators who don't have access to expensive software or powerful computers. It would really like level the playing field.
Exactly. And then there's robotics. I mean, robots that can actually understand their environment in real time. That's crucial for so many things. I mean, from autonomous navigation to delicate tasks that require like real precision. Efficient TAMs could give robots the ability to track objects with incredible speed and accuracy, even in environments that are, kind of chaotic.
Okay, now I'm picturing those like delivery robots we see everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And instead of bumping into everything,
Yeah.
they're weaving through crowds like with total ease.
Yeah.
Or like drones that can inspect bridges and power lines with like pinpoint accuracy, or maybe even like surgical robots that can assist doctors with complex procedures.
Exactly. And don't forget about security applications. I mean, we could see smarter surveillance systems, ones that can track individuals or objects of interest, or even systems that can like detect anomalies, potential threats in real time, or imagine the impact on healthcare. I mean, efficient TAMs could be used to analyze medical images or track the movement of surgical instruments, even monitor patients' movements and vital signs.
Oh, wow. It's like you said before, it's like giving machines a whole new level of visual intelligence.
Right.
And what's really exciting is that this technology is moving beyond the research labs, right? It's becoming accessible on everyday devices.
Absolutely. Efficient TAMs are bringing the power of this advanced video analysis to everyone. And that's going to have a ripple effect across so many industries.
It feels like we're at the very beginning of a new technological revolution, and it's all driven by these incredible algorithms and the brilliant minds that are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Well said. And that brings us to a crucial question. What are you going to do with this knowledge? What applications can you envision for efficient TAMs? What problems can you solve? What innovations can you spark?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. We've given you the deep dive. Now it's your turn to explore the depths of your own imagination. The future of AI is out there, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to shape it.
Until next time, keep diving.